Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by Demico, Chrysler, Dodge Jeep, and Ram, serving the Finger Lakes since 1963. And Creekside Entertainment, for your DJ, karaoke, and photo booth needs, think Creekside. And DIRTtrackDigest.com, if it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, depending on when you might be joining us. This is the 31st Lap. I am Chris Marquardt. Joining me in studio tonight is nobody. We've got Mike Mallett. He is working with Dirt Track Digest. He's been up at Syracuse all week long, and he's going to continue that position straight through tomorrow night's twin 20s for the 358s, triple 20s for the modifieds, and triple 10s for the sportsmen. And then in addition to Saturday and Sunday, John Baum is also camping up there all week. Creekside Entertainment, Stephen Ovens up there camping all week, and then Rich Post. I believe he's in Brewerton tonight. Everybody off to the races. We had Brian Tompkins originally scheduled to come in tonight. We'll put that together this afternoon. His brother-in-law got a deer, and so he's not going to be joining us either. Scheduled also, we're going to have Brian Sipple going to be joining us on the phone. Longtime fan and supporter of the 31st Lap, and he's in Brewerton. He's going to kind of give us an update of what's going on up there in Brewerton for the 358 Modified Super DIRTcar Series Hurricane 100. On the topic of Brewerton, we got all sorts of news coming out about the dirt schedule. There was qualifying action up at the Syracuse Mile as part of Super Dirt Week. We've got a little bit of results also that we can talk about a little bit later on. It's a little strange here talking to myself, but hopefully all you fans at home, if we do have one or two that aren't at Brewerton, that did turn into the 31st Lap, we appreciate you having you along. 31st Lap, connected to you fans by Creekside Entertainment. That's Creekside Entertainment, www.creeksideentertainmentdj.com. And, of course, we'd be remiss if we forgot our Mopar friends over there in Geneva, Demico, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Getting right into it. 31st Lap Live. We wanted to let everybody know what the intended live podcast program is at this point. Tomorrow night, following the qualifying races, there's going to be the Friday Night Lights program tomorrow for the qualifying heats for the modifieds, small blocks, and for the sportsman division. Following that in the Gator Racing News Pavilion right there on Vendors Row across from that infield restaurant. And I forget the name of it now. We'll be over there for a post-race show following those qualifying events, and then we're going to be back, if everything goes according to plan, we'll be back Saturday morning with a pre-race show. Again, we'll be at the Gator News Pavilion. Saturday afternoon, post-race, following the Salute to the Troops 150. We'll have a post-race show then, and then we're going to make the trek over to Rolling Wheels Raceway Park for the Twin 25s with the STP, World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, and the last chance qualifier for the Big Block Modifieds. The winner of that getting the 45th starting spot in Sunday's Syracuse 200 field. Sunday morning, we'll be back at the mile, and we will again be in the Gator Racing News tent. We're going to be over there roughly 10 o'clock, depending on how the morning church service and Joe Murata's program goes. So we're going to be over there for a morning pre-race show, and then once again, we're going to do an afternoon post-race show following the Syracuse 200. So a lot of opportunities. Hopefully everybody can get over there. Once again, connected to you fans by Creekside Entertainment, so that's a prime opportunity to stop by, say hi to. We should have Steven. It's just a whole cast of characters that's going to be there. Hopefully we'll be able to get in touch with some of the guys that usually join us here in studio as well. We don't really know what the plan is in terms of everybody's schedule, but we're going to try and get as many bodies there at the same time. I know Dean Reynolds is going to be involved with that program, and he's also going to be working real hard with us, and in addition to making all those connections with the Empire Super Sprints, he's also going to be working with the 31st Lap to try and shuttle some drivers back and forth for us. So we're really looking forward to that. We really look forward to seeing all you fans over there. It's a little bit weird being disconnected the way that it is. We haven't been able to get out on the road a whole lot this year. Here we are in studio, most of us anyway, at times, and we don't get the chance to see you guys. I know we had a great time when we went out to Utica Rome Speedway last year for the New Yorker. That was a real good time, and we look forward to getting out there at Syracuse and seeing everybody again. A little bit of racing action already happening this week as part of Super Dirt Week. The Makeup Rolling Wheels feature went to Billy Decker. Billy Decker picking up the win over there in Elbridge on Tuesday And then last night, Wednesday night, we had Matt Shepard picking up the 75-lap 358 modified win in the return to Weedsport Speedway, formerly known as the Cuyahoga County Fair Speedway, formerly known as Weedsport Speedway before that. So everything coming full circle in the first event for the Hinckley Baldwin ownership group over there at Weedsport. And then Rocky Warner also picking up the Sportsman win, which was good to see him. He's had plenty of success at Syracuse in the Pro Stock divisions, and he's been just as seamless as he moved over into the Sportsman division. Today, over at the Mile, there's lots of stuff going on. We can pull up some of the stuff here on some of the live updates that have been posted online at SuperDirtWeekOnline.com. I didn't have the chance to get up there today, but there was plenty going on in terms of the qualifying. Stuart Friesen picking up his first pole position after he won the 200-lapper in 2010 and 2011. He picks up the picks up the pole, ran somewhere around 0.6 of a second faster, which I was very, very impressed by. 0.6 of a second quicker than Brett Hearn. Brett Hearn turning in a lap of 30.3, whereas we had Stu Friesen turning in a lap of 30.963. He said that he was pretty surprised by it and he wasn't expecting it. But, nonetheless, he gets to sit on the front row, and that locks him in for that. Thanks. That locks him in on the front row, and also it's also going to put Hearn on the front row as well. Joining them on the front row, the top six being locked in, Jimmy Phelps and Jeff Rockefeller picking up third and fourth, and then Matt Shepard fifth, and Kerry Terrence in sixth place. The small block side of things, really good day for Ronnie Johnson. Ronnie Johnson, who's been a regular in the small block ranks, in the big block ranks. We've seen him run real well. He had the 76A over there, and he is the son of two-time Syracuse 200 winner Jack Johnson. He put Alton Palmer's number 76A to fast time in the small block ranks. Great pass for him. Trying to pull up some more of that stuff as we go. I've completely lost my spot. 31.75, 31 seconds. Not too bad in the small block. He was really getting around there. And his personal best finish in the small block 150 lapper was fourth, which was in 2010, and he matched that again in 2012. So we're going to see what he can do from there. Joining him inside the top six, which locked in Chris Raby. He timed in at 32.23. That's going to put him second. Then we had Kerry Terrence. He was third quick, followed by Mark Johnson, Larry White, Willie Decker. That rounded out your top six there. Really excited to see how that small block race goes with all the innovations and things that they've come up with the last couple of years and implemented, and the way that the tire has been sort of a non-issue. See what's going to come of that 150 lapper. Equally interested to see what's going to come of it. The 200 on Saturday. Looks like we've got Brian Sipple calling in here. Let me plug him in. Hang on just one second here. There's Brian Sipple. Put him on speakerphone. And let's see if we got Brian Sipple there. Do we have you, Brian? There we go. We'll try that. How about that, Brian? You got us?
Hello. You got
Hey, Brian. Yeah, we got you. We got you just fine. How are you?
Good. I can barely hear you, Chris.
I'll turn that up a little bit for you.
All right.
Let me know how that sounds. How's that? That a little better?
Yeah, a little bit better, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to crank all these things all the way up. So eventually I'm hoping turning one of those knobs is going to make it so that you can hear me. Tell us a little bit about Brewerton. What's going on out there?
Just finished time trials, 53 cars, 24 man lights in the house.
Wow. That's not too bad. Tell me a little bit about Brewerton and what it means to you as a fan and a longtime supporter of dirt car and dirt motorsports, going all the way, going way back. What's it mean to you as a fan to be able to go there and see the 358s part of Super Dirt Week once again?
What was that? You're breaking up.
What's it like for you as a fan to be able to see the 358 modifieds under the dirt banner back at Brewerton during Super Dirt Week?
Good. I think it's good for everybody involved. I like to get up here and see drivers that I usually don't get to see, the unknowns, that are good at other tracks, and the best of the best seems to come together here. I'd rather see them here than at the mile. I mean, I think the racing is more competitive here than at the mile.
Sure.
And same with Weedsport. I think they put on a much better show.
Did you get the chance to go to Weedsport?
Pardon me?
Did you get the chance to go to Weedsport?
Yes, we went to Weedsport last night. Real good show again last night. 55 cars, I believe, in the house.
Wow.
40 sportsmen. Standing room only crowd. They had race cars parked in the parking lot because they ran out of room in the pits. Real good show. Real good show. Matt got out in front, walked away with it. Danny started 14th or something and came on and finished second. Asked Jimmy Phelps in the last corner to take second. He was driving like a man possessed. Real good show. Good show. Good track. Track was in excellent shape. What they've done to it this year is, in the short time they've had it, is real nice. Coat of paint on everything that really makes the place sparkle. I can see that place coming back to where it once was.
Now, Danny had some pretty hard luck earlier this week with a real nasty crash over at Rolling Wheels.
Who was that? Danny said?
Danny had the nasty crash?
Yes, very nasty crash. Apparently, he went in early. They put a new left rear on. They did not tighten the lugs tight. Work loose. Finally, it broke. Coming down the front stretch, he gets sideways, gets up in the air, and I believe it was Keith Black. Had no place to go. Got right into him hard. Black stopped instantly. It was such a hard impact.
Wow.
Both cars were totaled. Both drivers were able to get out on their own and walk away.
And Danny not showing too much rust from it either, coming out with that showing that he had at Weedsport.
Right. I don't believe Flack raced at Weedsport, but Danny, he was on top of his game at Weedsport. Nasty crash.
Who set fast time over there in Brewerton?
Pardon me?
Who set fast time where you are now over in Brewerton?
I still can't hear you, Chris.
Who set fast time in Brewerton?
What about Brewerton?
Who set fast time?
I didn't hear. I know Timmy Mack was one of them. Barry O'Clair, Dale Plank. They had 5 heats or 5 sets of time trials. Those are the 3 that I remember off the top of my head.
Right. Some of the other news was
second in the last group.
Some of the other news coming out of
Billy Decker was like 4th in his group. Pete Britton was 3rd in his group. Brett was 4th, I believe, in his group. So all the good guys were up there. Danny was 2nd in his group. All the cream rises to the top.
That's right.
Trials, you know that.
No doubt about that. How did Justin Hare's look?
I think the car he's in is a little bit underpowered. He had a bad lap, his second lap, but it was his best lap. He hit a hole or something in turn 3. Last night, I believe he finished 10th or 11th. I didn't see the final results. He did make a redraw last night, so he finished top good. 2 in his heat.
That's always good.
But I don't think the car that he's driving has the power that he's used to for a small block.
Sure.
So, but, I mean, he's giving it all it's got. Keeping it clean, keeping it straight, putting on a good show.
You can catch up with all the full results and rundowns on Super Dirt Week online at superdirtweekonline.com. You can catch up with all the results pretty much front to back from everything going on during Super Dirt Week, the stuff at the mile, in addition to all the stuff happening at the satellite events through the course of the week. Some big news coming out of Super Dirt Week was the media conference where Joe Scott Nicky announced some pretty major changes for the schedule next year. There's going to be expanding. The series is going to have 20 shows on it at 18 different tracks. The 4 non-points races are back at Volusia Speedway, but there's going to be additions of previously non-sanctioned facilities that are going to be on the schedule. Fulton back on the schedule for April 26th. Utica Rome in Vernon, New York on June 25th. Big Diamond Raceway in Minersville, Pennsylvania on the 15th of July. Glenridge Speedway in Fultonville on the 16th of July, and Weedsport Speedway August 7th. In addition, Glenridge promoter Mike Soul, part of the STR program that's presenting Friday Night Lights tomorrow, is going to make Glenridge a regular dirt-sanctioned Sunday night track in 2014, and John White is bringing Brewerton Speedway back into the dirt car fold with sanctioning the big block modified division on Friday nights. So a lot of big changes going on, and it looks like dirt's starting to get some momentum back. Excited to see that. that as it develops, and hopefully some more tracks are going to be jumping on the schedule. What are your thoughts on that one, Brian? I mean, as a guy who goes to as many races as you do through the course of the season, you got a lot more dirt tracks that you need to go see.
I think it's going to have an impact on they were more than sports park. What drivers are going to stay and which ones are going to go closer to home. Is Billy Dunn going to drive to Canandaigua, drive by Fulton for his points to get here?
Well,
is Matt Shepard going to go someplace else so he can get his points on Friday night here at Brewerton?
It doesn't look like it doesn't look like the Saturday night tracks are going to be affected. It at this point, it hasn't said outward that Fulton is going to be a dirt member track. It's Brewerton that's coming back into the fold on Friday.
Okay, I thought I read Fulton was too. Maybe I read it wrong.
They've got a tour race, and they may have added it since that media conference. You never know. It is Super Dirt Week. Anything can happen.
Right. But still, with Matt running here on Friday nights for his Super Dirt Series points, he isn't really married to Canandaigua anymore on Saturday.
Right.
If he can get his Friday night points here. And I believe that Albany, Saratoga, Glen Ridge should be an interesting matchup too. With the combined points, what is it, $10,000 for the combined championship between the two tracks?
Something crazy between the two. Yeah, you can make some pretty serious money out there.
So I think you'll see like Brett Hearn and Di Lorenzo and those guys, try to run both tracks and pick up the points. The $10,000 to win for both tracks. Peter Britton, I can see him running both tracks in the 14B car.
It's also going to be interesting to see what comes about with Weedsport thrown into that mix as well. If Weedsport's going to come on as a full-blown Sunday night track, or if they're just going to reserve that for specials only, the way that they do at Rolling Wheels, or even if you could see possibly a combined track champion between Rolling Wheels and Weedsport if they do a series of special events between the two tracks. If they decide that they have eight races, I believe is what the minimum is to crown a track champion and award home track points.
Right.
Interesting if that comes to pass as well, and what that would do to that dynamic with Albany, Saratoga, and Glen Ridge. Glen Ridge, of course, running on Sundays.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking back. I mean, when was the last time we went into the off season? So I mean, there's still plenty of races to go this winter, but when was the last time we headed into the off season with this much excitement and positive discussion about dirt motorsports? I mean, it had to have been at least the last 3 or 4 years. Most of it was all doom and gloom when we were walking out of Super Dirt Week.
Right. Every last 3 or 4 years, dirt's got to go. We got to get somebody else in here. Consistency in tracks. It looks like we had a consistency now. With the other people joining the series or the DIRTcar sanction. Interesting to see what the tire of the choice is going to be. Are they going to stick with Hoosiers, or are they going to go with the American Racers?
That is going to make up a lot of minds for a lot of people, regardless if you have one dirt-sanctioned tour event at your home track. Is going to be irrelevant if that tour isn't running a tire that you're accustomed to running on a weekly basis. Someplace like it's nice to have a tour race at Big Diamond, just like it is at some of those tracks out in New Jersey. But if you're not there all the time, it's going to be a little bit tough to lure those drivers into running the whole series without the opportunity to gain home track points. And then on top of that, you've got, as you just alluded to, that dynamic with the tires. The tires alone could be enough to keep some of those Pennsylvania drivers from following the whole series.
Right.
Also,
it was interesting what they pulled tonight, having the DIRTcar Series here with just small blocks when all year they ran American Racers with big blocks,
Right.
So, but I see why they did it, I think. To try to unify everything this time of year, keep everybody together. So I think it's a good move on everybody's part. Yes, some people are pissed off, but I mean, you can't keep everybody happy all the time.
Well, I think everybody in racing knows that. Everybody wants to be happy all the time, but usually by the time they get happy, they find something else to complain about anyhow.
Yep, absolutely.
Is Stu Friesen there tonight over in Brewerton?
Yes, he is. He's driving the Kerwin car.
He had a busy day today. I don't know if you had a chance to catch up on what was going on with Stu Friesen today. They blew up their primary motor in their 358 car. So they had to scramble to get a small block together. And Jeremy Wilder, who isn't running Super Dirt Week this year, which I think is the first time. I read it was the first time since 2007 that he wasn't participating in Super Dirt Week with a small block car. He's got a cousin that's on Stewie's team, so Stewie sent the cousin and Wild Bill from his crew out to Jeremy's house to pick up a small block engine. They brought it back to Syracuse, got it stuffed in the car, and apparently they've got something in a car, and they're out there competing, be it the car that they're in. I believe it's the car that they're in. I just can't believe I mean, it's Scott Kerwin's car is the one that lost the engine earlier today. So a lot of thrashing going on in Stewie's pit, but it looks like they got it together enough to where they're at least over there at Brewerton.
Right. Now, did you hear the results of the time trials for the big blocks? I missed that today.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. We were talking a little bit about that as we were anticipating your phone call. Stu Friesen in the big block modifieds, as we alluded to, about a half second faster than Brett Hearn, topping the charts 1 and 2. Jimmy Phelps, Jeff Rockefeller go 3-4. Matt Shepard, Kerry Terrence rounding out the top 6. Billy Decker's the first car on the outside looking in. He should solidly be in the field. I'm very surprised that he's not in the top 6, but I guess stranger things have happened. He's going to be a threat on Sunday. Tim McCready, Larry White, Matt Billings round out the top 10. J.R. Hefner, Tim Hindley, Dave Rouser, Justin Harris, Keith Flack, your top 15. Pete Britton, Danny Johnson, Andy Bicchetti following 16, 17, 18. After that, it really doesn't matter because you still have to go through those qualifying races. And again, as we said time and time over, it's Super Dirt Week and anything can happen. Danny Johnson, Andy Bicchetti, Rob Bellinger, Gary Tompkins, Bobby Varon, Tim Sears, Eldon Payne, Billy Dunn, Dwayne Howard, rounding out the top 25.
How many cars took time for the big block?
Oh, lots. They had 68 cars take time, and they had 73 scheduled. Wayne Jelly, Marcus Dinkins, Ed Marshall, Jim Blewett, and Scott Flammer did not post time. Aaron Jacobs was the slowest car in the field at 35.168. He would have been struggling to make the field in 358s with that lap. The 358s were pretty fast today, too.
Yep.
They were smoking. Ronnie Johnson ends up setting on pole for the
Right, I heard that.
Troops 150.
Right.
How's the track looking over there in Brewerton? I mean, what do they got? What do they got on deck next? They getting ready to wind up the mod lights, or are they sending modified heats out pretty soon?
I think the mod lights are coming out. I hear something. No, it must be the modifieds coming out for their outlet or for the heat races.
Well, I mean, by all means, I can let you go and get back to that race and keep an eye on what's going on there. We're going to just run over the schedule here on Super Dirt Week one more time, and then we're probably going to be heading on out of here because everybody that I know is in Brewerton.
Yep. Okay, Chris.
Well, I sure appreciate you calling in, give us a little bit of an update. Sounds like the field's great over there. A lot of fast cars in the field, and that usually translates to some pretty good racing up front.
Yep, it does. Have a good night, Chris.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, bye.
Bye now. There goes Brian Sipple. Brian Sipple taking some time out of his day over there at the Brewerton Speedway during the 358 Modified Super DIRTcar Series Hurricane 100 to talk a little bit about what's going on. Once again, Brewerton returning to the dirt car fold in full next season. Also going to have Glen Ridge on Sunday nights. That was all announced during the press conference. The schedule is expanding, and hopefully that translates to some good things for dirt car. A lot of anticipation towards this. And we figured something like this was going to come. We did. We talked about it here on the 31st lap, if not last week, then the week before. When the sanction came out that the Brewerton event was going to be a small block race and the late models were off the schedule. And everything was going to be funneling towards Brewerton, so they weren't fighting each other. They weren't splitting the fan base. We knew something like this was coming. So now Brewerton goes back under the dirt fold. We don't know about Fulton yet. There's reports on both sides. Officially from DIRTcar and the press release issued earlier this afternoon, Fulton is not a dirt sanctioned track. However, they do have a dirt sanctioned tour event coming up in the middle of July, which is just as good to see. Certainly, everyone would prefer that Fulton was back under that dirt. Well, I shouldn't say that. That may not be entirely accurate, but all the same, there's some talk about that, and also it's going to be a lot of fun watching how that dynamic works between Albany, Saratoga, and Glen Ridge over there as those two tracks continue to work together out there in the Capital District. I just want to make mention here before we get off the air. Rhythm and Booze is the home of Creekside Entertainment every Tuesday night from 8 to 12. Most up-to-date karaoke in the Finger Lakes. If you can hear it on the radio, you can sing it with Creekside Entertainment. They're the fastest-growing DJ company in the area, playing weekly at the Palmyra Legion on Fridays from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., the Poorhouse in Dundee on Fridays from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., and the Penn VFW Saturday nights from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. with their country karaoke. Don't forget about the official photo booth of the two-time defending NLL champion Rochester Nighthawks. The Creekside photo booth is what you need to make your party, wedding, or event a great event. Contact Creekside Entertainment online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com or call us at 315-481-9700. You can also find them on Facebook and on Twitter. And also want to make a mention of D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They've been a staple in the Finger Lakes since 1963. D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram offers full service, parts, cars, trucks, used vehicles, new vehicles, you name it, they've got it over there. Their headquarters right there on Routes 5 and 20 on the west side of Geneva. The lineup includes the 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee, the new Dodge Dart, the Challenger, the Charger, the Chrysler 200, the Chrysler 300, the Town & Country Wagon, the Durango, and of course the beloved Dodge Ram pickup truck. They were beat up from a very busy summer. They set some records all over the place in the midst of their 50th anniversary sale. They need trade-ins, and they're going to do everything they can to put you into one of the new cars, trucks, or SUVs, and they're going to give you your top dollar for your trade-in. Visit my favorite sales rep, Mike Godkin, and the rest of the D'Amico family online at D'AmicoChryslerDodgeJeep.com or visit them in person at the dealership. Open daily, Monday to Saturday at 8:30. For more information, call D'Amico's at 877-407-7207. Just give you a little rundown on what you can expect here the next couple days over there at the Mile in Syracuse during Super Dirt Week, presented by Napa. Tomorrow night, it is the STR opening ceremonies at 6:55 with the 358 modified Twin 20s following at 7:05. Plan to follow them around a quarter after 8 is going to be the Dirt Sportsman modified Triple 10s presented by Dirt Track Digest and our good friend Mike Mallett, who hopefully we're going to see tomorrow night if everything goes right, and we'll get to do our live shows. 9 o'clock is the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modified Series modified Triple 20s, 10 non-qualified cars as advanced. Saturday, or the 12th, that is championship day for the 358 modifieds. The last chance qualifier for the Sportsman is going to go off at 11:30. Time trials for the Sportsman is going to follow around noon. 1 o'clock is the previous ceremonies, and 1:30 is the Dirt Car 358 modified series. Salute to the troops, 150 lapper. And then at 4:30, the Super Dirt Car Sportsman modified champions, 30 laps, are going to roll off at 4:30. At 7:30, the Twin 25s, World of Outlaws sprint cars, plus the Win and Year and Big Block modifieds for the 45th starting spot. Again, that's at Rolling Wheels Raceway at 7:30. Sunday is the big day. That's the day that we all have been waiting for all week long. The Super Dirt Week Crown Jewel, 200 laps for the Big Block Modifieds. It's scheduled to go off at 2 o'clock. The last chance qualifier race is scheduled for earlier in the day. Maybe it's not. My mistake. At noon is going to be the Back Off Dirt Car Pro Stock Championship at noon. And then previous ceremonies for the 200 are planned for 1:30. They've got Monday blocked off as a rain date in case we need it. But I think we're going to be okay on that front. Just checking stuff over, making sure we didn't miss anything else. Once again, our live schedule, tentatively planned, all of them at Super Dirt Week are going to be coming from the Gator Racing News Pavilion right there on Vendors Row. It's going to be tomorrow night after the STR Friday Night Lights. Then we're going to go into Saturday morning. We're gonna have a podcast somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock, depending on pavilion availability, if you will. We're gonna do a post-race show from the 150, and then Saturday night after the sprint cars over at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park, we'll make the trip from Syracuse, and we'll head over to Elbridge Saturday night. Sunday morning, we'll be back again. Once again, we're gonna be in that weird 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock time slot, depending on how everything goes over there at the Gator booth, and then we'll be back at the Gator booth after the 200. And hopefully this year we'll be able to get the winner. Last year it didn't go so well because there was an awful lot of rain. So we'll catch up with you over there. We're looking forward to seeing all you fans. I think we've pretty much covered everything that we're going to cover tonight. There's just not a whole lot that we're going to be able to get into you with because everybody's at Brewerton. We do appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time out, listen to us, find out when we're going to be out on the road, where we're going to be, and by all means, if you're a regular listener of the 31st Lap, please stop by, say hi. We'd love to meet you guys. That's going to do it for this very short, abbreviated Super Dirt Week preview edition of the 31st Lap. And next time we see you, it will be after some laps are turned at speed over at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse during Super Dirt Week presented by Napa. Thanks again.